Welcome to our social media messaging seminar for RWS employees, for our partners. My presentation today isn't just for you guys, it's for the people that we have in the field, the people that we have at other locations, the people that work with us, our inspection partners, our agent partners. And this isn't a social media presentation about Facebook ads. It's not about that. It's about how you interact and guidelines for that as, a staff member, as somebody who supports and promotes what we do, and also as a human who is on social media. Anybody here not have a Facebook account at this point? Nobody? Awesome. I'm glad you do. All right. So all of our brands, and this is something really important to recognize when you're out there in the world of social media and trying to message. All of our brands are brands that are not in front of our partners. We don't put ourselves in front of the inspector. We don't put ourselves in front of the agents. We know that we're not going to be Coca-Cola or FedEx or, some recognized brand. We are an administrative function. We're a feature of our partners out there in the world of real estate. And, our partners might have a different view of these things and how they put themselves out and to what party. That's what I want to get across to you so that you have some guidelines and understand what we expect in the world of social media. And I'm going to go really quick on this, so try to keep up. On purpose, I gave you one piece of paper. And it's one piece of paper so that you do not take more notes than that one piece of paper. For those of you that actually brought more than one piece of paper, why? Why did I tell you to do that? I didn't tell you to do that. Yeah, no, there's your one piece of paper. That's all you get, sir. Okay, so here are the things you should know, and this isn't really for debate. We can talk a little bit about it at the end. You can tell me how wrong I am about some things, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just telling you what I do, how I do it, how I portray myself, the things that I use to bring value to this company, to our partners out there, and the more you can do that, the more valuable you will be. And candidly, the more happy you will be on some days. So, first rule, Facebook is the king of social media when it comes to engagement, right? Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and all of these things are a little fun for teenagers. But as far as actually getting into a conversation, as far as, debating a point, as far as people understanding a position, that's where real engagement happens. And you don't have to worry about it. There's very few people in this room. Maybe a couple of you have, some interaction with our Facebook ads and stuff. For the rest of you, it's about how you interact with clients, with the public. LinkedIn rules for recruitment. If you are in HR, if you have, the ability to convey a message about how great it is to work here and how everybody should be here, LinkedIn is where you need to be. People love to hear about workplaces on LinkedIn. You won't find me posting a lot of stuff about products or influence of message on LinkedIn because people don't see those messages. They just don't. And I've tested it. It's, again, not for debate. Instagram is great for time wasting. I hear people all the time talk about how younger people like Instagram. Well, they like it because they can just scroll through and it's just pictures in like one sentence, right? And that's fine. You can put that stuff out there. I think, for the future, I'm investing some time in Instagram. You'll see me post on Instagram a bit to be there, to be at that sandbox. But I don't get responses from it. Not like I do with the engagement from Facebook. Twitter just wastes a little bit of your time at a time. Here's another rule. There is no such thing as personal anymore. So, my social media stuff is all public. It's open. People don't even have to be, a quote friend of mine in order to post on my Facebook. Can anyone think of a reason why I would be so public about that? Transparency.
Further reach.
Further reach. That's right. What's that?
You like to fight back.
I enjoy a good debate. Yes.
Accessibility.
Sure. Here's another thing, just mentally. I don't like the idea of posting and even thinking that it's confidential, right? If you have in your mind that your profile, a group that you're posting in, if you have in your mind that's something that somebody won't see that you didn't intend, that's wrong. Always consider it to be a public thing. And sometimes you can, on a very advanced level, you can play with that. You can know that in a certain group, a certain person is there who will see something a certain way and then go say something in response. It's very complex. I don't want you guys really to play necessarily those war games every day. But you can kind of utilize people's perceptions against them a little bit, and only if it's for your own benefit. There is a limited ROI to screen time. This is another point and a rule that you need to be aware of. It is no one's job in RWS, very intentionally, it's no one's job to sit there on social media all day long and watch social media and post on social media all day. Just doesn't work. There's a real world, and that's where you get ROI. It's the real interactions off of social media that make value for everyone on it. Personal interactions in the real world are better, but they have limitations. You can't always see people that are across the country. You can't talk to them and have a beer with them if they're unavailable because they're on family time. Social media allows for that. And when we're talking about that limited ROI on that screen time, when is that screen time? It's all the time. But it's all the time that you can give without taking something away from your life. My favorite places to post on social media are in the car while driving and on the toilet. Those two times, I have nothing else going on. I mean, something going on, but I don't have anything serious going on. And when I pop on there and respond to somebody who posted at the end of their day, that was their work day. They got home. They really wanted to get some message across. I respond to it. They don't need to know that I'm midstream. They have no idea. Here's more things you should know. Hashtags do not count on Facebook. And before I go any further on this, because there are people, and we have 170 people or whatever, and when you get into our extended partners and all their folks, and then affiliates of ours, we're talking about thousands of people. And someone is going to take something from what I say today and say, man, that guy must think I'm an idiot. No, I don't. I'm just giving it to you straight, okay? Because I know your intentions are good. I just want to make sure that you come across the right way. Here's the way you come across if you do hashtags on Facebook, like an idiot. And it's not that, it's not like funky, fine, it is. It's some ode to where hashtagging actually makes sense. But people don't really utilize hashtagging on Facebook for a reason. It doesn't have a purpose. People can't hear your voice. They will interpret whatever they want to hear from a post. Whatever you say, read it through every possible perspective that you can before you press enter, before you launch that message, before you commit to it. Think about what the person on the other end will hear and how they will put your voice in their own head. Nobody wants to see your food. Sorry. If you post, seriously, I eat food. I could post every day, oh, check out this burrito. But that would be lame. The only time that you should post like food, give me an idea. What would be a great time to post food?
Here.
When we have a truck here. Okay, cool. And I noticed some of you post in like the company page, but wouldn't it be great to post that to the world too? And who would see that and what message would they get from that would be a positive in their life, right?
Right.
On LinkedIn, for instance, hey, we got the food truck here again today. Stop by and talk to our HR department. We'd love to hear your story and see if you can become a part of ours. That's a post. A post in other segments, particularly where we have partners that are participating, they might see it and it might create a goal for them of having that kind of thing in their enterprise, right? So inspire, but without too much braggadocio, okay? I'll give you another reason you might post food, something that relates to people. There are certain foods that people will associate with memories in their life, with places that they've visited. Something very cultural, something from a particular part of the country, maybe something that helps you relate to somebody really well. That's a purpose. Otherwise, I don't give a damn about your food. Sarcasm is an art, and most of you are not artists. Most people in the world aren't artists at sarcasm, and someone will take the sarcasm the wrong way. I will use names today. I will show examples of things, and I want to let you know ahead of time that every single one of these people is incredibly valued, and some of them have taken the risk with social media and put themselves out there, and they are not being punished for it today. If I wanted to punish them, I would. I don't. I want to use them as an example so that you learn from those mistakes. And, you know, I'll tell you, Brandon Wells is one of the funniest dudes in the world. You know, if you just talk to him for like 10 minutes, it'll change your life. When he posts something sarcastic on social media, he gets a lot of likes, he gets a lot of activity. I've had someone message me from across the country about one of his posts that they took a different way, and like to where they were threatening violence and legal action and all sorts of things because they just took it the wrong way. So you got to be careful. You don't want to stir something in somebody's head that is really negative. And I talked to him about that. This was years ago, and he toned it down just a little bit. He's still himself. You want to be sincere, you want to be genuine, and you want to have your personality out there. But sometimes less of your personality is good. You don't want to be mean, you know, and you don't be mean-spirited. If you ever see me doing something where, you know, you're perceiving that I'm being a little mean, it's probably because we roast the ones we love and we help the ones we love, and there's something in that I think someone is going to derive value from. Do I take a few more risks than I'm comfortable with almost anyone doing in this company? Absolutely. So don't necessarily, you know, follow down that path with me. Don't offend, and no one should have to teach you the basics. You know, there are people in this room that don't have a damn profile pic. That's crazy. 12-year-olds do this stuff, 13, on Facebook. You get in, you start using it, you download the app, you know, use it. You're gonna have fun with it, and you're gonna figure out the basics. If you really need a basics on Facebook, like how to use the search bar, or how to tag someone, or how to tag a company, you know, you just use the little @ sign, and then you start typing it, and it'll show up, and you push that button. Then watch some simple YouTube video on Facebook, or just use it for a little while. Even more things you should know. There's just so many things you should know. Immediacy of interaction is a double-edged sword. So if something gets posted out there and it's a question, it's an interaction where the person on the other side would perceive that you should be there reading it, or that you might be there reading it, your timing to get there and post a response is super important. It's one of the things that we do on a great level. I mean, like, I have people wonder how we accomplish such quick responses and then taking an action, and you know, based on a post on a thread, and you know, in one of our groups. It can't happen if you're oblivious to it. If you don't see notifications, if you don't have notifications turned on all of your devices that say you got tagged in this, or there's been a post in this group and you know that those posts might be relevant to you, if you don't have those notifications, you don't even know it's there. And when you see your notifications and you go through everything the next day and then you respond by then, I promise you it's probably too late. But it's a double-edged sword. There are times when you can get some advantage by waiting. It just depends. You have to use your best judgment on it and try to see what the other person sees. Some threads should die, and they should die a painful death. Some of them should die a public death. Some of them are just toxic. They're bad for mindsets. They're bad for image. They're bad for people's perceptions. You know, people. There are an enormous amount of people that have a perception that is based on fiction, but they just, you know, they let it fester. And so, you know, if they're creating that and they're creating a way to convince themselves of their position, when you go in and you respond to some of those threads, that brings things to the top of activity. It brings things to the top of what people see, and people start interacting even more, and it will keep that thread towards the top, particularly in Facebook groups. It's okay to have a discussion, hit a quick answer, and then let it die. Harassment and stalkers are very real. And let me give you some safety tips because all of you are too important. We have, if you watch my Facebook, okay, and if you really want to learn how to manage a profile and how to, keep your kind of public persona, clean while engaging, watch my profile. You will not find me posting a picture of my food with a location where I'm at. That's just ridiculous. There is nothing that makes it so people have to know where you are right now, especially if you're away from home, especially if you're away from your kids, etc. It's better that people don't even know what day this was shot. When this gets posted, and it'll get posted and it'll go out to our partners, it'll go out to all the employees, and I hope everybody watches it, and I hope you encourage your friends to do so if you think it's good. If you think it's a waste of time, then tell them that, and we'll have to disagree. But when this goes out, there's no reason why they should know what day this was even shot. I could be here, I could be right behind you. You don't know. I could be in Fort Lauderdale right now. We could be at the South office. We could be at one of our call centers in Dallas, for instance. You don't know. That's right. So be careful about it. And we have like real potential problems with that. Yesterday, we called police about someone who was videotaping one of our offices, and we had them removed from the property. People are weird, especially in Florida. You can't talk someone out of their core beliefs, so you never want to try. And you don't want to get into talks that have to do with core beliefs. If you're talking a lot about guns, you're probably going to offend someone. Whether it's that or anything that someone might run a political campaign on, that's not what you want your specialty to be, because then you just become the weird social media version of the old man on his front porch with a snake, inviting the children over to pet a snake. That's what you turn into. Less is more. Short statements are all that will be listened to. If you post a long paragraph in a thread, it shows up with this thing that says see more, and it makes you click it. You know why? Because Facebook would never post a thing that their algorithms know people don't read, and they have more data than you on it. If it takes more than three sentences to say something, it's too damn long. Curse words are a no-no. You don't go out there with curse words because you'll get booted from groups. Again, we're dealing with very awesome social media companies that have an awesome amount of data. They have algorithms. They know who reports posts. They know who goes by them and doesn't take the time and read. And if they're not reading your post, if they're not engaging, then they're not going to stay there for long. And Facebook is going to penalize you with that. And there is a place for curse words in the real world. We use them to inject emphasis. We use them to inject humor. We try not to use them in the wrong places, like, church or work or the library or, daycare centers, for instance. But they don't really have a place in the written word because, again, people don't, they don't hear your inflection. They don't hear your voice. Curse words include words like movement, culture, and disruption. The minute you start talking about something as if you're, disrupting something, the minute you talk about your movement, you have admitted to the world that you don't have one, okay? And we're not trying to do any of that. We support the people that we work with. That's what we focus on. We're not here to change what they do. We're here to improve in every way that we can that would be acceptable to them and be a benefit to everyone that they deal with. It's that simple. But as soon as you start talking like you're creating a movement, that's going to be taken as a negative and you should be punished for that. Virtually nothing is confidential. It's a subtle reminder, but seriously, nothing is confidential. If you post it online, it's going to be there forever in some way. Here's more things you should know. Friend often, but have a reason. So if you're on LinkedIn, as you should be, if you're on Facebook, as you should be, if you're on Instagram and you're on Twitter and you're on all these things, these platforms do a pretty good job of saying, hey, here's some suggested friends. when you friend someone, it could be because you had a real interaction with them. That's a great time to connect. It could be because they're connected to other people that you're connected to. It could be because, you think that you should be friends with them and that they should be exposed to you. How do you get to be friends with them? You can't just go out and just, add everybody as a friend today. You want to do it in, slowly and build over a long period of time. And when it comes to those friends too, there are different levels of friends. We'll get into that in a bit. Join relevant groups. I cannot believe how many people are actually in like our inspector services group, or why are you wearing a suit? Or in, I'm talking to you in the suit. Or at the lab, as an example, that are not involved in inspector groups. Like they haven't joined, they don't participate. A lot of them could take a lot of lessons from Chris Higginbotham and how he participates in those groups and how he chooses which groups to go into. But he could tell you some lessons too, and we might have him do one in a future class like this. He's been kicked out of groups. I've been kicked out of groups. It happens, and you learn a lesson every single time. But you want to join those relevant groups, and you want to know your stuff. When you post, you better know your stuff. If you say something that's false, you just made more work for all of us. You made our partner look stupid. You confused someone. You gave them a reality that is fictitious. Only post when you know the answer. And it's okay sometimes to say, I don't know that answer, but I'm going to get it for you, and I'm going to come back here and post it. If you think that this thread is a positive, personal or business, doesn't matter. If you think this thread is a positive and that people seeing it is good for something, then what you should do if you don't exactly know your stuff on something is say, wow, that's such a great question. I'm going to go find the answer from this party, this department, whatever, and I'm going to come back and report it to you so that everybody can see it because your point is so valid. That makes them feel good and gives you accountability, makes you more of a resource. Imagine the things that Becca could look into for someone if they felt like you were their gal, right? Don't engage in politics or religion at all. There's a reason why people get elected to political office. It's because they get some people to vote for their name, literally by making it so that other people will not vote for their name. It's a system that's incredibly divisive and intentionally so, and you participate, you're now divisive. Doesn't mean you don't have to have an opinion on anything. It doesn't mean you can't be somewhat colorful about it, but there's a time and a place, and what's the real advantage in your life to posting your personal beliefs on whether, Trump's hats were stylish or not? That doesn't have any bearing on your life. Always post with the reader, the viewer, the interacting parties, and even the detractors in mind. Someone who's going to read something and be against what you say, think about how they might read it. Don't try to change their core beliefs, but you might want to change their mind about something and just move the ball 3 yards at a time. What they see, what they read, what they take from every post is essentially your only purpose for writing. Think about that. If it doesn't help, don't do it. When words only have a downside, why post? Look for an upside in everything. All right, so I'm going to go to some basics on some stuff. We'll get into some technical at some point in the future, but I just really want you to have an idea of what you should be doing and how you should be doing it and how often and what would be problematic for us, for our inspectors, for our realtor partners, for your coworkers. This is my profile, and it's set up fairly well. Let me tell you a couple of things that you might notice. There are some logos, some small logos, and we always make them small because we're just in the background. We're a feature for our partners, and I did that, very strategically so. And then I adjusted that picture in order to, have the right focus when somebody goes to it on their desktop. There's a view that they get on their cell phones and their tablets, and that view is also calibrated so that they get the right view when they check in. Now then they see here, a group of smiling yet silly people, and Mr. Dennis Rodman, who's fairly well known. If you have something like that, you want to be careful about who you put a picture of yourself next to, right? There are some people that are very divisive. He's done a wonderful job over the last decade or so of being much less of what he was before. Any man willing to marry himself, and make that a very public thing was clearly looking for some sort of attention. He was clearly looking to fulfill something in his life. That time is gone, and he's made himself a neutral party and somebody who just shows up and says, let's have a great time. And so, he's an okay guy there. There are others that I've put there. I've also got a picture of me with my two sons, and, my dad's in the picture as well, but I, focused my profile picture to where my sons were there, and people click on it, then it shows them my dad too. I also put that, the places that I work, and if you see, you can actually stack the places you work to where any prior places you work are kind of gone from history. And we have enough things that are out there that you could be just like me. You're at Sewer Guard and Recall Check and RWS Inspector Services Group and Residential Warranty Services and all that stuff. I put my high school out there because I'm proud of that. Does it do anything for me in the public sphere? Probably not. But does it make me a little bit more human? Sure. Here's the other thing you'll notice. I made sure that all of these pictures right here are good and tasteful and have nothing to do with those politics or religion. And I have a lot of friends, and it's not like any one of them is somebody that I shouldn't be friends with. If you get a friend request from somebody who has, 2 friends, no profile picture, and they ask you immediately to go to some sort of website to view them on camera, for instance, that's not a friend you should have, all right? You want real people that have, some real value to your life. And when I post something, it'll have something in mind to be an advantage to someone. So here's an agent who posted out that they offer a 5-year roof leak warranty with every home they list. And so I shared that and said, if anybody's looking for an agent in St. Johns County, Florida, this is a good guy to go with. He's offering a great deal, and it's a better deal than 99% of agents offer. And so we support that. Does it have our logo on it? No. Does it have Home Pros? Yes. Wally Conway's company in Jacksonville. I can't imagine that I don't get, I'm going to go back for a second. I can't imagine that I don't get, hundreds of thousands of views every single year for our partners where, our branding, what we put out there isn't secondary or even non-existent. So this is somewhat inviting. Nobody's going to come to my profile and go, I'm scared of you. I'm not going to add friend. And there's a lot of people that are like, they don't want to add me as a friend yet because maybe they don't want to be seen as friends in common by somebody for whatever reason. It's weird, but they will click follow, and I have a lot of followers as a result because they want whatever I say, for whatever reason, good or bad. They want whatever I say to show up in their newsfeed. They want to constantly be notified of anything that I'm doing. Interesting. Okay. Do you think it would be valuable for people to want to read what you post when you post? No? Not at all? I mean, it's okay. We can end the meeting. I think it would be, and the more you know your stuff, the more you can get out there some good information, the more valuable you are to our partners, to other staff members, to clients. Now, I warned you guys before everybody was here that I may use some people as examples. And those people are all valued. They've taken risks. If they were actually in trouble, I'd let you know none of them are in trouble. But I'm going to show you a profile that no one would add as a friend. Okay? So let's check this out. This, by the way, is not a guy that you'll see me, tagging myself with a lot. You won't see me interacting on his profile page a lot. He's got other things he does in his life. He doesn't live on social media, clearly. But this is what I like to call a pretty dead profile. You got posts from a long time ago where people did that kind of doppelganger Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday thing that just shows up, and if somebody's only got that stuff, it doesn't look like they're really involved. He's also self-anointed as a zombie, which not everybody likes zombies. In fact, I would say most people don't actually like zombies. But he's got a picture of him with like a gun and like near some fire, and he's basically made himself into an online persona that appeals to somebody, but not the masses. So you want to be careful about what you look like to everybody. Does he care? No, because he's not in the business of promoting himself or others. He doesn't find value in that for himself. Fine. Here's Al. I wanted to give a shout out to Al. Al did okay. He clearly shows that he's in real estate, but there's nothing about, and I'm going to be critical about this stuff, and Al's going to see this, and he's going to know that I love Al, and I just want him to be able to do better and be, encourage more activity. There's nothing branded about that. He's got a pretty decent picture. I like that. He's got some good photos that are, featured that are from events of ours. He's done that. But here's the thing. These are Al's posts. They're right there, just listed, True Blood Real Estate. It looks like he's helping someone, but he didn't do anything for himself. Here's a typical Al post. Al's posts are nice and have great intent, but they're not influential. If you go through his profile, you'll see almost none of them have any likes. There's no engagement. There's no tagging. There's no bragging. There's just no fun. How could he improve this post? He's got this post. It's from a real estate agent at Front Porch Real Estate, Chris Strohmeyer. Great people. They're using us all the time for warranties. A client of Al's. He took the time to go on his profile and share, essentially, he just shared this post from Chris Strohmeyer. What do you think he could have done better here? Anybody?
Could have tagged everybody.
He could have tagged everybody. That's right. Hey, check out this listing from my friend at Chris Strohmeyer. What would that tag do?
Anyone that goes to her would see it.
That's right. It would make his post show up on her profile.
He could have tagged that. He could have tagged RWS because they're offering the warranty.
He could tag RWS because this home, and the reason why he posts these, he generally posts homes from agents that are putting our warranties on their listings. One of the main things we do here. Hey, check out this house. Proud to be the warranty provider on it. Let us know if we can ever help you at Residential Warranty Services. Good call. What about tagging the real estate company?
Yeah.
Somebody's seeing those tags. We love working with our at Front Porch Real Estate agents. Hell, you could even check in at that location, at their office location when you did this. So you could make it some content-driven stuff too. You could say something nice about Chris Strohmeyer in the post. So let me give you a great example of some engagement, because this isn't creating any engagement. This one is a great example. I put this post out here. Are you worried about liability? Does it hold you back? If you'd like absolutely zero risk in your business, message me. Zero risk on lawsuits, 100% of client complaints handled, etc. Totally done for you. Yes, it'll cost you very little. Okay, I kind of put out there a sales message, didn't I? And I didn't say anything about what I was talking about, but I was talking to inspectors. I posted it in an inspector group. I said, I didn't say, use our warranties. I didn't say, here's a logo you need to buy into. I didn't mention the monthly fee that comes along with our top group, which is required for that whole thing. But we can make that stuff cost not too much. People just have to be open to it. So how are they going to be open to it? Well, we're going to put that out there, and this was very soon after I posted it that I took these screenshots. Here's first guy comes in, and this is how the internet works. He's got to be a little bit paranoid. What's the catch? And then somebody else who I've never heard of, Richard Nielsen. To my knowledge, never met the guy. Your first, third, and fourth child, and yes, you are required to have 4, no questions. So he's making some weird joke about what we must require of our clients. What an interesting perception for him to have. And so, you kind of let that go. You let the timing happen. Let those guys come in. And then Frank comes back, makes that a little bit of a joke. If I had responded to this, do you think that subthread would have died? No.
It would have kept going.
No, it would have kept going, and there would have been negativity. There'd be certain kind of personalities that would jump in on it and create an incessant negativity. You don't want that. So then here, I put in the big catch. I get to have my team handle your complaints for you and with you. That's the big catch. Whoa, that's a huge catch, isn't it? And then Randall Wooten comes in. You have to this is an important lesson. You have to sale warranties that have scape clauses, S-C-A-P-E, scape clauses. That way, when the warranty does not pay, semicolon, your credibility takes a beating, comma, since you are the local face of transaction, what a offer, sell a product for others and let your credibility suffer. All right, here's the thing. It's a really smart thing to have a warranty in the real estate transaction. You guys know it. Every single day, you go out there, you pay hundreds of people for whatever kind of problem came up. And here's what you need to know. The other 80% of the real estate transactions where we didn't touch it, those people had the same problems, but they're not going to get a check. They don't have you to talk to. So here's a guy who is, he doesn't understand value in that way. He doesn't get how to see, an inspection package from the view of his clients. He's an inspector, he inspects, and to him, any contract that has a escape clause is like a problem. Ironically, he has an inspection agreement that he forces his clients to sign before he does an inspection that says he inspects nothing and he's responsible for nothing, and best of luck. But anyway, we're not going to respond to that because that creates an ongoing, incessant negativity. I put Randall Wooten. Hasn't happened in millions and millions of transactions. I didn't even have to say which part of that hadn't happened. I mean, all of it hadn't happened, but I just said it hasn't happened. Millions and millions of transactions, what he described that no one could even understand what he was saying. It hasn't happened. It has only defined the most successful companies in the industry and taking care of countless clients. There are a lot of excuses to not take care of the client. Don't be one of those guys that says, screw the client, they're on their own. Whoa, yeah, I don't want to be that guy. Okay, cool. He comes back. I prefer to provide quality service. Yes, because the rest of us prefer to provide shitty service. That's our preference, right? I prefer to provide quality service coupled with sufficient knowledge to the client. Sufficient. If I walked around wanting to be sufficient, I don't know how I'd get through my day. It's a good thing I was sufficient today. I barely made it to work. I ate crappy food. I don't know. However, I'm open-minded. You give away the first 100 warranties so I can gauge how the reception is along with the customer care follow-up. Then I will consider coming on board. Okay. So you were totally against it unless it's free. Good. We can do better than that already. We give you 3 months of everything. $0 out of pocket, Randall Wooten. We know the ROI is good. It works daily for thousands. A home inspection with a warranty is a better client experience than one without. You do the inspecting. You do that part with all of your sufficient knowledge. We'll take care of the unpredictable. We'll take care of the rest. So I kept this positive by not engaging with this dude. That dude was a problem. And then I let it skip, and then I came back with the kind of words that somebody needed to hear based on what, a good basis of knowledge. So that's how you get people to engage. I'm going to embarrass somebody. Don't mean to embarrass them, but this is a classic example of trying a little bit too hard and not thinking about the perception. I'm very, very sorry. This is a horrible example of engagement. Learn from these mistakes. We have, okay, I'm glad you're laughing. We should all laugh. By the way, if I text you, if I message you, if I tell you something needs to come down, I am not screaming at my phone. I have not put any holes in my walls. I recently put up walls that I cannot make it through so that I don't even try. Okay? I'm not mad, but we can't have certain perceptions. So here's this guy. He says, how many inspections are you going to do in 2020? What's your goal? He's in an inspector group saying Happy New Year, and he's really just trying to get some people to be friends with him because he's Nick's son, and he offers some social media help stuff. Okay, cool. And it's great to like that post and to say, you're a good partner of us, Eric. He promotes us. But to come back with, to help Nathan Thornberry buy another plane. All right. Wow. I know the person who posted it well enough to know that the intent was purer than the Virgin Mary. But the perception of this could be really bad, right? I mean, like, people don't I don't even think we need to talk about why that's bad, right? But when you're saying something in your head, and because Chris, I want another one, and I think you're going to help me get there, so thank you. But maybe we have that discussion offline. Yeah, good call, partner. All right, sharing and posting guidelines. I hope this is fun for you and that you're getting something from it. You want to add relevant content. You don't want to post things that are just nonsense and, like, why is someone going to read this today? That should be your question every time. You don't post the same thing in multiple groups with the same people. You will find, particularly in real estate, home inspection, mortgage, title, the real estate agents themselves, that the people that actually participate a lot in Facebook groups tend to be the same people. There are 5 Facebook groups in the home inspection segment that have 3,000 or more people with over 90% crossover in the participants. So when somebody says, oh, today I'm gonna be a big man and go out and post some advertisements, and they post in one group, and then the second group, and the third group, and the fourth group, and the fifth group, the exact same message. What do you think the result of that is?
People are getting annoyed with the exact same message.
They would be annoyed. I mean, imagine if I did that to you on the way to the bathroom, in person. That would be horrible. So yes, it's annoying, number one. Number two, Facebook and these social media platforms, they're smart. They know when people ignore your crap and when they don't like it. So they start making it so that you're not seen. They make it so you don't show up in news feeds. We have some great people in the home inspection industry with great missions, with great products that go out there and they want to promote something. But when they promote it like that, you can go through these groups and you can find all of their posts and you can see their 2 likes. 2, if that. And it's usually like themselves liking their own post and one other dude. Don't be that guy. You can have a different message for different groups for different reasons. It's an art to it. You'll learn it. Watch and learn a little bit. You're allowed to steal knowledge from me. Chris is getting pretty good at it. I put that up, like, seriously, as a joke. But also be available. I'll tell you what Chris did. As he put that up, and I saw Chris has tagged you. Ruh-oh. Delete that now. Like that. That's that. And he was very quick to do it. Don't make that kind of post and like get on a plane. Utilize links from our inventory often. This is one of those things that goes on that piece of paper. You should have your inventory of links. Where do we get our inventory of links? Anybody got one? Name it. Okay, RWS, our core business websites. Those are good. And there's a lot of links. There's a lot of categories in that you could go to. I posted the employment page link because that's like incredible. It has, David and his team have created this long list of positions we need to fill. And I will post that in places, no doubt. What else? Nathan.tv, great resource. It's got a lot of funnels there that get people that want to connect with us and be a part of this. It's got it right there for them. If you go to Nathan TV and cruise around, by the way, you'll find all of the other links that you should be getting stuff from. For instance, our inspection forum. You should be familiar with it. You should be familiar with, we actually have at inspectionsuccess.net/something a resource page that has all these videos and stuff with copyable links that our marketing team put together. And you can basically go to that page and we put text out there so you can just do a control find on your keyboard, and whatever the topic is that's of conversation today, you can type in that thing. If somebody's talking about sewer lines, type in sewer lines and it'll take you, skip to all the different videos we've done, all the different links to things we've done, and you got it right there. And then you can post back with an answer. That's a great question. Here's how we handle that. And by the way, check out this link for a special offer on SewerGuard. Check out this link for how we take care of clients, etc. Tag people with a purpose and, be genuine and sincere in it. I get tagged all the time by people that go, oh, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that Nathan has 100+ likes on anything he posts. No, sir. As soon as I get that, within seconds, I leave it open. I let people do it. I don't have an approval process or whatever. But within seconds, I will have myself to where I've hidden it from my timeline. Okay? Hiding it from my timeline means that it's less visible. They don't get to use what we built as a billboard. Don't get used. Got it? Fair enough. We built an army here, and we just have to utilize it correctly. And you guys each have an army within the army. Make sure that you understand that every day, and don't be taken advantage of. Press releases suck. Okay, if I hear anybody say we should do a press release, like seriously, there are windows in this building. I know they don't open, but I think you can get through it. Some information just doesn't belong in social media, okay? Like no one wants to hear about your health problems. I love my cousin Derek, by the way, who was the zombie I showed earlier. I mean, we do family stuff. I grew up with him. He taught me how to collect baseball cards and look up the prices in the Beckett book, which is a great way to ruin a Sunday, right? I didn't know what everything smelled like, but it was probably weed. I was young. I was 8, and it was a different world. There wasn't vape stuff, and so I didn't know what I was learning. Some absence can bring curiosity, by the way. There are days, there are weeks where you might not see me post in certain places. Why would I do that? Because I don't live there, and it makes you look bad if you're just incessant about stuff. You want to be the resource. You want to jump in when you can deliver value. You don't want to be there all the time. You need to define your purpose and mission for whatever you're doing at that moment. You can have several. You can have different things that you do on that day. Here's some great ones. You can have a mission to make someone's day, to congratulate them on something, to brag about something they've done in their business. If it has something to do with us too, you mention that in the way that it delivers value to their people that are seeing it. You can help to educate. You can get the word out on something. You can make sure that something is known. You can let the world know where you work is awesome. You probably have some people that know you on social media, particularly on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and your friends working here wouldn't be so bad, right? You can promote a friend. You can build you as a brand, and it's okay for you to be a brand of sorts. I don't stop that. Paul does a pretty good job of being, I have no other way to say this, Paul. And he does it in social media, and there are people, it's not everybody, we have just over 9,000 registered inspection companies that utilize our stuff in some way. We have 157,000 real estate agents that have hit our systems in the last year. Not all of them are going to call Paul. In fact, many of them probably don't like Paul. But where they want Paul, Paul shows up. And we appreciate Paul for that. Because, when somebody tags Paul and says, I have this question for you, I don't have to sit there and go, I'm going to check back on this in 20 minutes and then text somebody. Where the hell are you? Why aren't you responding to that? Why are you making it so that I have to, or that somebody else in the company has to speak for you? Like, does it really take more than 2 minutes to respond or say, hey, here's my response for now? No. You can make your own day, but that doesn't have much of a purpose. But sometimes people need their own days made. So, if you want to make your own day, that's great. You want to post a picture of you doing something that you love. I'm guilty. It's fine. And some people may like you for what you love, as long as it's not zombieism. Friends, let's talk real quick about this. There are many types of friends. There are real friends. People that you know in real life should definitely be a part of your social media, because you know what that does? It really makes it so that you can see people that are also friends of theirs, that are friends of yours, and you can start making some connections, particularly ones that are, industry specific or whatever, you want to accomplish in your personal life as well. There's really real friends. Those are the ones that, you don't even care if they're friends of yours on social media, but you probably should be. Then there's who's that dude, where you don't know them really at all. You're just a friend of theirs on social media, and that's okay. There's a way to interact with that guy. There's a way to act like his friend. You don't know what's going on in his day, do you? So like a post. That doesn't, that doesn't even seem like a real dude. Don't friend that guy. Unfriend that guy. And then there's the I'm not sure what that dude's intentions are guy. That guy you want to watch out for. Somebody who seems like they're being a little bit overly friendly. If they're asking you, probing you for information, business or personal, I don't care. That's a problem. That dude belongs in a little box. And so you put him in that little box. And sometimes you have to block him. Don't be unaware of your image. Here's the common mistakes. It's the exact opposite of all the good things that you can do in social media. You can ruin someone's day. You can absolutely ruin it. You can spread misinformation. I've had people in this room post things in response to a question that were just simply factually wrong. And we had to, now I have to correct it. It sucks. Talking about things that shouldn't be known. We as a company, these brands that we put out there to people that offer great service. We put out there to people that understand what delivering value to a client is, and people that want to, protect their clients, the people that like that mission. But we don't have our name on the front of the restaurant. They have the restaurant. They're the Sullivans, they're the Flemings, they're the Wendy's, they're the Burger King, whatever kind of restaurant they want to be. In some ways, we might run some software on the cash register. We might be a provider of one of the tools in their kitchen. But in some ways, we're the company that empties the dumpster in the back. We deal with stuff that is not pretty. We deal with people getting threatened with lawsuits. We deal with people that are just complainers. We deal with the people that would take their mindsets and put them in the gutter so that they can be more successful and keep doing what they do and promote their brand. So these brands, they're really in the background, but where they should be, make sure that they get out there. Complaining about your life and your work, no one wants to hear that. If you need that kind of support, call your parents, call a friend. There are hotlines. They charge by the minute. They have psychics. They have people. There's free ones where people just talk to you that care. I don't know. Whatever you need in your life. I think that that's a verbal communication and not one that should be public. Paul, what's the worst thing that happened to you this week? No, seriously, don't even answer because none of us want to know. But I hope you're doing well mentally.
Absolutely.
All right. Dissing a friend. You don't want to diss anybody. Seriously, though, if you need help, go seek it. Okay, good. Harming your brand or our brand, that would be a bad thing to do. Taking away focus from important issues to focus on something unimportant. You don't want to get in the way of something. And ruining your own day. If you go online and you start ruining your own day, it happens. There are people that do it. So let's do a practice, just kind of a practice post. We're going to talk about what should be posted, where, how, and who might get tagged, and what we do. And we're going to use this guy as the example. Everybody know what this is? It's radon. No, it's not.
Mr. Breeze. Magazine King.
This is one of the Breeze monitors. That's right, but it's not a monitor. This is an environmental tester. This is an air pump, a vacuum pump that pulls air in a room through a cassette that has a sticky media in it. And basically, these get sent into Priority Lab every single day. We slice it open, we pull out the media, we put it on a slide, we put it under a microscope, we count those mold spores, and we do a comparative analysis of what's outside in the air to what's inside in the air. And this machine helps you do it. You just simply put the cassette on there, you turn it on, it has this software that it runs, and then it will actually self-calibrate and make sure that the correct amount of air coming through this is happening at all times. It's the only pump in the world that can do that. The only one that's ever been able to do it. And it's not even the most expensive pump around. About $100 cheaper than the most expensive one that doesn't even have things like onboard humidity detection. This has onboard humidity and temperature detection and pressure, which are things that inspectors and mold testers have to, take down as part of their chain of custody process. It's the, the process that they use to take these air samples. And this makes it all in one box. It's battery powered. The battery lasts for freaking ever. Awesome branded, very functional and high quality tripod. You can't do it on the floor. You can't just dump these things on the floor. You got to be off the floor. And our inspectors are aware of how to do this. And we have all these training videos at moldtestingprocedures.com if you want to learn how a mold test is done, what these guys are doing. Now, you might not be in the production of these. You might not be in the design of these. You might not be in the marketing department doing everything to brand this really well. And you might not be in the lab looking at the samples. But that doesn't mean that you can't make a brilliant post and make it relevant to an audience. So let me tell you some quick facts. I'll just review the facts and then you guys can come up with the post. This is not the most expensive thing on the market. It's going to be about $100 cheaper than the most expensive thing on the market, which puts it in the $700 range. It has onboard humidity, temperature, and pressure detection, and nothing else does. It self-calibrates and makes sure that there is a constant 15 liters per minute of air coming through any media you set on this. And it has pre-programmed all of the different common times. This is another thing nothing else has, where based on the amount of debris in the air, you might set this thing up for a 1 minute or 2 minute test, or a 5 minute test, or you can do a 10-minute test. This is the only unit in the world where all you have to do is click Start Test and click which minutes you want, and it'll just start going. That's it. Only one. And it's the only one with a touch screen. It's the only one that's assembled in America as far as I know, but don't quote me on that one. That is not a know your stuff fact that I can back up. There could be a pump that I'm not very familiar with that is made by some dude in Pennsylvania. I don't know. But I know these are made right here. So what kind of post might we make and where would they go? Open forum, folks. Spit it out.
On Facebook, announcing our second release in the product line of the Breeze monitoring system.
Let's go simpler first. Simpler.
Say hello to the Breeze.
How beautiful is this? I mean, if you actually went online and looked at these ugly other pumps, they're just not aesthetically as pleasing. So a picture of this to go into an Instagram post, check how pretty this is, and then a simple link to the Breeze website. That's one. That could be your Instagram thing. By the way, you can set your Instagram to automatically post on your Facebook. But it says it's posted by Instagram, so it doesn't look like something where you just made some annoying version of a Facebook post. It gives you a lot of cover. All right, what else?
Don't make it a paragraph too long that they don't want to read it.
That's right.
Bullet points. Let's
Focus on one feature at a time. You don't have to put it out there that it's every feature. So maybe another post is something like, check this out, only X amount of dollars.
Beautiful, more for less, easy
Right.
to use.
Maybe there will be some sort of very technical writing that we put on the forum that you could post a link to and say, accuracy and quality of what we do in our lab is of the highest priority. And here's how we make your testing better. Okay? Cool. Those are good examples. Where would a post, make sense?
Probably in a home inspection forum or a home inspection group.
Home inspection group, great one. But let me make it really advanced. Josh, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I want you to come up with and it can be dirty. Okay, we're quick. No, I mean quick and dirty. I don't mean don't make it like dirty. I want you to come up with a post that where you share this with friends of yours that are outside of the home inspection and outside of the real estate industry, and I want you to pretend that I have a post on my profile that focused on one fact. Okay, I did the price point, I did the flow, I talked about the humidity measurements, and I had a great picture of this, and I had that little blurb, and I had a link to the website where you can buy these. You're sharing it on your personal profile. Tell me something you would say that friends of yours from outside of the industry might appreciate. Go.
I would probably say something like, check out this awesome thing that our company has created.
Right. Okay. So yes, love it. Basically, where I wanted him to go, and he went exactly there, was, we're a part of something innovative. We love improving the real estate transaction. I'm happy to work here, and where we can innovate, we do, and it's exciting every day to go there. Cool? Because a lot of people work places that suck. They don't have those kind of opportunities. They don't have that cool feature. They don't have food trucks showing up and Paul being Paul. Right.
That's what I was thinking.
So if you can take that message and say share on your profile, here it is. Now let's flip it another way. Let's say I don't want to be the one that goes out there and posts it in an inspection group. So let's say Paul is in an inspection group and he decides to share this to an inspection group. What might you say?
Check out the legs on this beauty, because that's how they roll.
Yeah, okay, so you might, within a certain environment, you might be able to be
On top, for sure.
a little bit different. But okay, so you put out there that it's, beautiful, just to start a conversation.
Yeah, I think the colors are great. I think the tripod, like I said, it's sexy looking.
Yeah.
Something you're not going to have in the tools of the trade.
Right. What I wish you would do, though, is figure out, okay, what can I post on there that's going to create a positive thread with lots of interactions that get people thinking, knowing, influence to know the things that we want them to know.
Well, it would start out with check out this beauty, and then I would immediately roll into here's how we can make your job easier, more efficient, and provide better results. And then
Right.
a couple bullet points.
And by the way, when you say things like that, when you say we make the real estate transaction better, when we say we make you more efficient, when we say we save you money, because we aimed this at saving them money over the other, it's not even digital, but the other item in the marketplace that has an on-off switch and a timer, like that's what these guys want primarily. That's why they've been paying $800+ for some of these pumps. We wanted cool features because that's what gets them excited about it, and that makes them want it in their hands. But we made it cheaper than the other thing because we want them to spend less money where they don't have to, where they're not getting some huge value out of it. And so what we do for inspectors, sometimes they need to know so that they can open their mind to some of the other things that we can do to them. There's an inspector somewhere, and and you can apply this to anything in your personal life and in your business life. Our partners that are largely marketing to real estate agents can apply this to their business as well. So you just have to extrapolate this to some other example. But there's an inspector somewhere who is just like that guy I showed you here today, who said, "Oh my God, you have contracts that don't cover things, and I just inspect." And as soon as I said, "Hey, it's free, go ahead and try it," he's like, "Oh, well then, I'm in." Not everybody is that open-minded. He might still be pretty closed-minded about it, but at some point, he's going to see this as an option that's cheaper. He's going to get it in his hands. It's going to run better. It's going to run longer. It's going to run more efficiently. It's going to deliver more accurate results. And at some point, he's going to understand what we stand for. And in his perception, it'll change. You can only change just a little bit of that on social media. You cannot go in and just, dominate. There's no such thing as a post that actually changes the world. Okay? Doesn't exist. So just change somebody's world just a little bit, and you've done it well. That's it. Thank you for being here.